Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free German ebook before it's gone. Today's topic is how to speak more of your target language, specificity, and can-do checklists. How much of your target language can you speak right now? If your answer is not much, there is a way to speak more, even if you're learning on your own. In this episode, you'll discover 1. How specific goals can get you speaking more, and 2. How you can apply this learning tactic with our learning program or any other resource. But first, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the Going Sightseeing Conversation Cheat Sheet. What country or city would you like to visit? With this PDF cheat sheet, you'll be able to talk about where you want to go, and you'll master all the common words and phrases for sightseeing. Second, the Most Common Nouns PDF ebook. You'll master over 90 common nouns with this bonus PDF picture ebook. You can download and review on any device. Third, can you talk about hairstyles? Would you be able to get a haircut in your target language? If not, then this 1-minute lesson is just what you need. Fourth, phrases to use with your doctor. I have an appointment. I don't feel well. My throat hurts. You'll learn how to say these phrases and much more. Fifth, can you talk about books in your target language? Learn how to say novel, author, thriller, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. How to speak more of your target language, specificity and can-do checklists. Every learner wants to speak more in their target language, and yet speaking is almost always the weakest skill for most learners. So, how do you fix this? How do you speak more? Keep watching. These tips will apply to solo learners and those with a conversation partner. First, let's put language learning aside. Let's say you wanted to speak more about a certain topic in your native language. What would that depend on? The length of that conversation depends on how much you know about that topic, right? If you don't know much, that conversation won't last long. If you know a lot, you could go on for hours. It's the same with language learning. The more words and phrases you know around a certain topic, the more you can speak. It's a top-down approach. Pick a topic, for example, weather, and work your way down. Learn the relevant words, phrases, and questions for that topic. For example, what's the weather like? It's nice weather. It's sunny. It's windy. I like sunny weather. I don't like rain. The more lines you come up with, the more you'll be able to talk about the weather in your target language. The point is, if you want to speak more, you should start with a specific topic. Sounds obvious, right? So why don't most learners do this? Most learners don't do this because they're just passively following a learning resource without going after what they specifically want. It's much easier to follow a textbook than to stop, think about what you want to talk about, and go off in that direction. Of course, you should keep using your textbook or other existing resource. You can do both. Follow a resource and pursue specific topics. But here are a few reasons why this tactic is so powerful. First, specific goals always beat vague goals. For example, between setting goals like, I want to save money, and I want to save $50, you're more likely to succeed with the $50 goal. But because you have a specific number to look for and measure, you won't stop until that $0 becomes $10, then $20, and then $50. Same with language learning. Between, I want to learn more words, and I want to learn 20 words, you'll do much better with the specific goal. Second, you get to speak more sooner. You can go try the general approach of learning the 2,000 most common words, but that will take a long time and it won't get you speaking any faster. But if you pick a specific topic and get all the words and phrases for it, you'll be much better off. 3. So you know what to focus on. Again, knowing what to focus on helps you learn and progress faster. Otherwise, if you're just going through a textbook with no specific goal in mind, you'll spend months on learning a language and never see any real progress. So remember, the more specific you are with what you want, the more likely you'll get it, because you'll know exactly what you're looking for. This is why we tell you to set small, measurable, meaning specific, monthly goals. Now, what kind of topics should you pick? That depends on you and your hobbies and interests. You can also start with common topics, like talking about yourself, your family, the weather, or your weekend plans. But to make it easy for you, here's what you can do. 1. Download our free PDF conversation task list. Pick a topic to start with, for example, talking about your family. Then, take lessons inside our learning program based on that topic. You'll learn practical conversations that you can use in real life. And as a result, you'll be able to talk more about your family. 2. Take 5 or 10 minutes and write out other lines that you'd want to use, either in that conversation or questions that someone may ask you, and get them translated with the help of our Premium Plus teacher. 3. Come up with your own topics that are interesting to you. Then repeat step 2. Come up with all the phrases, questions, and answers that could come up in that conversation. Write them out and get them translated with your Premium Plus teacher. Or translate them with a translation software. You could try this, and it might not be perfect, but it could help you start and get you speaking a little bit more of your target language. The goal here is to be able to talk more about a specific topic, and as a result, speak more of your target language. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about what's your real reason for learning a language? If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! If you're learning a new language, there will be times when you'll struggle with the lesson, when you won't fully understand what you've learned, when you'll be in a rut, or when you just won't feel like you're making any progress. And that's totally normal. In this video, you'll learn what to do if you're not learning, and how to overcome language learning struggles. Let's begin. Number 1. Understand the mindset of a successful learner. Some learners are more successful than others. A key difference between successful learners and less successful learners is in the way they approach problems. Some learners rely completely on a learning program. If there's a grammar rule or word they don't understand, they get frustrated and blame the program. They don't look for solutions. Successful learners approach problems a little differently. If they encounter a problem, they look for a solution or ask for help instead of getting frustrated. You may feel frustrated at times, especially if you're a beginner, but how you choose to react will make all the difference. Number 2, set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. Most learners fail because they set big, vague goals, like, I want to be fluent. When they realize they have no idea how to do that, they lose motivation and quit. The solution to this? Set small, measurable, realistic goals with a deadline. For example, finish 10 audio lessons by the end of this week. Learn 20 words by the end of this week. Speak 1 minute of conversation by the end of this month. Listen to lessons for just 5 minutes a day, every day this month. Now your goals are small and realistic enough to accomplish. They're specific and measurable, so you know when you reach them, and the deadline gives you a finish line. For example, either you learned all 20 words by Friday or you didn't. When you reach your goal, you gain a ton of confidence. This improves your chances of reaching your next goal because you've had experience reaching a goal and you understand the things you need to do to be successful. Number 3, read along with the lesson notes and lesson transcripts. Now, what if you're doing a lesson but you can't catch a word? Take advantage of the lesson notes and lesson transcripts and read along with the lesson. The lesson notes give you in-depth grammar and vocabulary explanations that are not available in the lesson. And the lesson notes give you the word-for-word transcript of everything said in the lesson. So if you want to pick up every word, read the transcript. Number 4, review, because repetition is the mother of all learning. If you're struggling with a particular word, grammar rule, or lesson, be sure to repeat and review it a few times. And then, come back a few days later and review it again. This same principle is used in our spaced repetition flashcards. The system quizzes you on words, then re-quizzes you in 3 days, then in 6 days, and so on. until the word gets embedded in your long-term memory. Some things you can do right now are download the lesson and lesson notes, save the words to your word bank, or even write down the words or grammar rules. Then come back to review them later. Number 5, reach out to our teachers and ask questions. If you're a Premium Plus member, you can easily get in touch with your teacher and get all of your points of confusion cleared up. Or you can always leave a comment on our lessons, and our teachers will get back to you. Remember, you're not alone. If you're struggling with a lesson, you can always get in touch with us. Number 6, take a break and go do something else. Another thing you can do is take a break and do something else that doesn't require much thinking. There's a reason our best ideas come while in the shower or while taking a walk. While you're on a break, your brain is more relaxed and starts making connections that you couldn't see when you were focused and stressed out. It's also why coming back to review things with a fresh mind can help you better understand the lessons you've taken. Number 7, downgrade your learning routine. If you're studying for 30 minutes a day and find yourself overwhelmed, or if you suddenly find yourself busy, the best thing to do is to reduce your study routine to something easier and more manageable. If you've been learning 30 minutes a day, drop down to 10 or 15 minutes. Even 5 minutes is good enough because language learning success comes with consistency. Quitting and coming back every 3 months won't work. This brings us to our next point. Number 8, remember, learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Think about it. You can't cram for 5 hours and expect to remember everything you've studied. So just like with a marathon, it's okay to go slow and at your own pace, even if you're learning for just 5 minutes a day. Similarly, if you're having trouble understanding a grammar point or a lesson, don't let it bring you down. Learning a language is a marathon, a long-term game. The little points of confusion you have now are just small obstacles, and you'll fully understand them with time. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! When learning a new language, we sometimes have a hard time with things like procrastination, discouragement, or failure. But don't panic. With a good strategy, you'll be able to overcome these difficulties. Are you ready to discover the 4 habits of successful learners? Number 1, optimize your time. When learning a language, it's important to dedicate time to your studies regularly, even if sometimes it's difficult. You're busy with school, work, family, or friends, but you can spread out your learning throughout the day. Study whenever you have small gaps of time in your busy schedule. This can be when you're on the metro, on your lunch break, or while you're exercising. Our podcast learning format fits perfectly into your tight schedule. Number 2, consistency with your chosen method. There are a lot of options when it comes to courses and learning materials. Switching from one method to another can confuse you and disrupt your progress. Focusing on one learning method will make a difference. Our method has been created and optimized by real teachers, so you can stick to it with confidence. Number 3, use your language background. Many languages share some commonalities. You can find words that look or sound similar, or even share the same grammar structure. A little bit of language background will give you an edge while learning. Number 4, study continuously. People are excited when they start learning a new language. The enthusiasm usually lasts until the first roadblock. This can lead to discouragement and procrastination. But don't burn yourself out. Learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to learn it all at once. Break things down into more digestible chunks. Learning step by step might feel slow, but it's an efficient way to learn a language. With patience, motivation, and good resources, you'll master the language. Remember, you can't learn a language overnight, but with motivation and these daily lessons, you'll be on the road to fluency. Give it a try now. Sign up for your account. Just click the link in the description.
Hi everybody, Anja here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common German questions. The question for this lesson is, why does German use 2 different words for joke? Both Witz and Scherz can be translated as joke. Witz is used in the actual sense of telling a joke, and a Scherz can be a prank or an ironic comment. A good insider tip is to know the phrase war ein Scherz. It roughly translates to it was a joke, and is often added after saying something that could potentially offend someone. It's used to either clarify that you're not being serious or even to retract the statement. So if you hear this, don't take what the person said to heart. Let's do some examples so you can use Witz and Scherz correctly. The phrase sehr witzig means very funny. It's often used ironically when you don't find something funny or when you're trying to tease someone. Another example would be Du bist heute aber zu Scherzen aufgelegt. This means you're in a silly mood today. It literally translates to you've been set up to crack jokes today. The aber meaning but is used for emphasis. An additional good phrase to know is Du machst Witze. This means are you kidding? Accompanied by a facial expression of disbelief. This might be used when hearing surprising or even shocking news, though nothing too serious, like death or illness from a friend. An interesting fact is that there are two colloquial verbs based on Witz and Scherz. The first is witzeln, meaning to quip, and the second is scherzen, meaning to joke. Both are used when people are being silly and joking around a lot. If you feel like you're getting the hang of German humor, you can try this fun phrase. Hast du einen Clown gefrühstückt? This literally means, have you eaten a clown for breakfast? It's an ironic expression that actually means, well, aren't you being funny or silly today? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, see you next time. Hi everybody, Anja here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common German questions. The question for this lesson is, what does ja mean in German and how do I use it? The German language uses a lot of little words in sentences to slightly change the tone. It could be to add emphasis to make a statement less direct or less harsh, to comfort someone, to acknowledge a fact, to express surprise, and more. One of these words is ja. Ja normally means yes. However, when used in the middle of a sentence, the meaning is different. For example, in the sentence, Du sprichst ja auch Deutsch, meaning, you speak German too. It cannot be translated as yes. There is no direct translation. Here, it's just emphasizing that the person you're speaking to can also speak German. Break it down so you can understand how to use ja more easily. Let's use this scenario as an example. A German and a non-German person are talking about an exam they took in German. The German person says, Ich fand den Test einfach, which means, I found the exam easy. The non-German person might respond with, Du sprichst ja auch Deutsch, meaning, well, of course you would, since you can speak German. Let's do another example, with Ich gehe ja schon, meaning, I'm already going. You would use this sentence if someone has repeatedly asked you to do something. The ja refers to the fact that you know you have been asked a number of times and can be translated as, okay, I'm going, stop nagging me. Ja can also be used in the following scenario. Ist ja auch so, meaning, well, that's how it is. This time, the ja makes the sentence sound a bit defiant. For example, if someone says, Du beschwerst dich oft über Staus auf der Autobahn, meaning, you often complain about traffic jams on the highway. The other person might, in a slightly annoyed tone, reply with, Ist ja auch so. Well, that's just how it is. Let's do one last example. Imagine you're feeling hungry and you remember there are some cookies in the kitchen. However, when you open the jar, there are none left. You might say, Nanu, die Kekse sind ja schon alle, meaning, oh, the cookies are all gone already. In this case, ja adds an element of surprise. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, see you next time. Hi everybody, Anja here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common German questions. The question for this lesson is, what is the difference between Urlaub and Ferien? Ferien and Urlaub can both be translated as vacation or holiday. Urlaub originally comes from the verb erlauben, or to allow, meaning you were asking to be allowed to leave work. Ferien is used to refer to a period of free time with no school or work. These vacations have been set by the government, for example, summer holidays, Christmas holidays, Easter holidays, and so on. Urlaub is used to refer to time an individual takes off from work, which is not set by the country or state. It's also used to refer to an actual vacation. For example, a father and mother might apply for Urlaub, or time of work, so that they can go in den Urlaub, on vacation, with their children. Let's do some examples so you can see how to use Ferien and Urlaub correctly. In den Sommerferien hat die Schule zu. For example, means the school is closed during the summer holidays. Ferien is used as Sommerferien, which means summer holidays. This is a fixed period of 6 weeks off set by the government for each of the 16 states. Let's do another example. Ich bin nächste Woche nicht im Büro, weil ich Urlaub habe, which means I won't be in the office next week because I have a week off. Here, Urlaub is used. It's a period of time of work that each individual employee can decide to take at different times. Let's do another example with Urlaub. Ich hatte einen tollen Urlaub in Südfrankreich means I had a great vacation in the south of France. In this case, Urlaub means a vacation that an individual took that is unrelated to the government-set holidays. An interesting distinction between Urlaub and Ferien is school children and university students have Ferien, but employees have Urlaub. However, in den Urlaub fahren, to go to vacation, is for everyone. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, see you next time. Hi everybody, Anja here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common German questions. The question for this lesson is, what are some of the most common false friends in German? There are lots of words that look similar in English and German, but they don't always mean the same thing. It's pretty fitting that they're called false friends, because they can be deceptive. Here are some of the most common ones, so you can avoid any miscommunication the next time you speak German. Billionen in German means trillion, not billion, so be careful when you're reading financial information in the newspaper. For example, if you read, die Bürger müssen 30 Billionen Euro Steuern zahlen innerhalb eines Jahres. That literally means the citizens have to pay 30 trillion euros in taxes in a year. That's a big difference. The word billion in German is actually Milliarden. Just make sure not to confuse it with million. Next, Brand is fire, not brand. For example, if you hear the sentence, der Mann hat den Brand mit seiner Jacke gelöscht. He isn't talking about the brand of his coat. That actually means the man extinguished the fire with his coat. The word brand in German actually is Marke. If you're in a hurry, Be careful not to use the word fast, which actually means almost. So for example, das ist fast alles doesn't mean it was done quickly. It actually means it's almost done. Fast in German is actually schnell. You should be really careful if you want to give someone a gift in German. This is because das Gift actually means the poison. So if you hear in a fairy tale that die Hexe gab das Gift, it actually means the witch gave the poison and not a nice present. That would be das Geschenk, the gift. If you're at the supermarket and overhear someone saying the word Taste, it doesn't mean they're talking about eating. The word Taste actually means to feel or to touch something. Like in this example. Taste mal die Pfirsiche, sicher zu gehen, dass sie reif sind. This means feel the peaches so you're sure that they're ripe. To taste in German is actually probieren. Let's do one more. If you hear someone say the word groß, it doesn't mean gross. It just means that something is big. For example, das Haus ist groß. The house is big. I hope that clears things up. Pretty interesting, right? Please leave any more questions in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, see you next time. Hi everybody, Anja here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common German questions. The question for this lesson is, what's the difference between ihn and ihm? Ihn and ihm both mean him in German. So how do you know which one to use? Ihn is used for direct objects. That means it answers the question what or whom. Ihm is used for indirect objects. That means it's used in response to questions like to whom or for what. Does that sound confusing? Don't worry, we'll do some examples. Now, there are two things you should know before we dive in. One, because ihn is a direct object, it's used in the accusative case. So it marks the object that's answering what or whom. For example, ich rufe ihn an. I'm calling him. Here, the him is receiving the action called and answering the question, who are you calling? Ihm is used in the dative case, which means it's supposed to mark the indirect object. For example, ich gebe ihm einen Stift, meaning I give him a pen. Here, ich answers the question, who did you give the pen to? Let's do some more examples so you can learn how to use ihn and ihm correctly. First, let's do an example with ihn. Our first sentence is, auch wenn wir ihn nicht mögen, laden wir ihn zur Party ein. This means even though we don't like him, we'll invite him to the party. Here we have the word ihn twice. That's because the object ihn, meaning him, is receiving two actions, dislike and invite, from the subject wir or we. Here, ihn would answer the questions, who do you dislike and who did you invite to the party? Next, let's do an example with ihm. Ich habe ihm ein Geschenk gegeben. This means I gave him a present. In this sentence, the ihm is receiving the present and answers the question. To whom did you give the present? Lastly, let's do an example with both ihm and ihn. Zeigen Sie ihm, dass Sie ihn lieben. Show him that you love him. Sounds romantic, right? Here, the ihm answers the question, to whom are you showing love? And the ihn answers the question, who do you love? How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, see you next time. Hi everybody, Anja here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common German questions. The question for this lesson is, what's the difference between kein or keine and nicht. Kein or keine and nicht are used to make negative sentences. So how do you know which one to use? Let's go over them together. Nicht is used in sentences with definite articles like the in English. For example, ich mag das Essen nicht. I don't like the food. Nicht is also placed before verbs in sentences such as ich kann nicht kochen, meaning I can't cook. Here the word nicht comes before the word kochen, meaning to cook. Kein and keine are used in sentences with indefinite articles like the English a or en, or when there is no article at all. For example, ich spreche kein Deutsch. I don't speak German. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use kein, keine, and nicht correctly. Let's start with nicht. Ich kann das Buch nicht finden, das ich gestern gekauft hatte. I can't find the book I bought yesterday. In this sentence, we have das Buch. Das is the definite article the, so we need to use nicht. Now let's do an example with kein, keine. Ich kann keine Bücher mehr sehen. This expression literally means I can't see any books anymore, but is actually an idiom meaning I have had enough of studying. There is no article, so we need to use kein or keine. You can use this expression to talk about anything you're tired of doing. Another example would be, ich kann keine Nudeln mehr sehen. I can't see pasta anymore, which you may use if you've been eating the same meal every day for a week. Let's do one last example using both nicht and kein, keine. Ich würde nicht spazieren gehen, wenn ich keinen Hund hätte. I wouldn't go for a walk if I didn't have a dog. Here, nicht is used before the verb spazieren, meaning walk, and keinen, the conjugated form of kein, keine, in the male accusative case, is used in reference to the noun with the indefinite article Hund, meaning a dog. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bye, see you next time. Heute. Today. Heute. Heute. Today. Heute 6:15 Uhr. Today at 6:15. Heute 6:15 Uhr. Gestern. Yesterday. Gestern. Gestern. Yesterday. Gestern Nachmittag. Yesterday afternoon. Gestern Nachmittag. Morgen. Tomorrow. Morgen. Morgen. Tomorrow. Bis morgen. See you tomorrow. Bis morgen. Woche. Week. Woche. Woche. Week. Arbeitswoche. Work week. Arbeitswoche. Jahr. Year. Jahr. Jahr. year. Ein Jahr. 1 year. Ein Jahr. Sekunde. Second. Sekunde. Sekunde. Second. Nur eine Sekunde. Just a second. Nur eine Sekunde. Minute. 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 3 Minuten. 3 minutes. 3 Minuten. Stunde. Hour. Stunde. Stunde. Hour. Für eine Stunde. For 1 hour. Für eine Stunde. Uhr. Clock. Uhr. Uhr. Clock. Die Wanduhr hängt an der Wand. The wall clock is hanging on the wall. Die Wanduhr hängt an der Wand. Uhr. A clock. Uhr. Uhr. A clock. 3 Uhr. 3 o'clock. 3 Uhr. Heute. Today. Gestern. Yesterday. Morgen. Tomorrow. Woche. Week. Jahr. Year. Sekunde. Second. Minute. Minute. Stunde. Hour. Uhr. Clock. Uhr. A clock.
Ich bin Katrin. Und du? Ich komme aus Deutschland.
In the next minute, you'll be challenged to introduce yourself, including where you're from. First, let's look at some examples.
Ich bin Marvin. Und du?
Ich heiße Marc.
Ich heiße Karen.
Let's practice.
Du triffst Katrin Prößler zum ersten Mal. Stell dich vor und beantworte die Frage.
Ich bin Katrin. Und du? Ah.
Now share where you're from. Here are some examples.
Ich komme aus New York.
Ich komme aus Kiel. Und du?
Ich komme aus London.
Are you ready?
Woher kommst du? Mhm.
How did you do? You can consider this practice exercise successful if you were able to answer in the given time, completed a pattern with your name and hometown, and used the sentence pattern featured in this example.
Ich bin Marvin. Und du? Ich komme aus Kiel. Und du?
Try this practice exercise again if you want to improve your fluency or skill in any of these areas.
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Guten Tag, ist das hier die Anmeldung? Nein, hier ist nicht die Anmeldung. Die Anmeldung ist da links. Ah, danke. Guten Tag, ist das hier die Anmeldung? Ja, wie heißen Sie? Kate Andrews. Wie buchstabiert man das? Nachname? A-N-D-R-E-W-S. Vorname? K-A-T-E.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Danke.
Thank you.
Danke. Danke. Anmeldung.
Registration. Application.
Anmeldung. Anmeldung. Hier.
Here.
Hier. Hier. Nachname.
Last name.
Nachname. Nachname. Wie?
How.
Wie? Wie? Vorname.
First name.
Vorname. Vorname.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Guten Tag, ist das hier die Anmeldung? Nein, hier ist nicht die Anmeldung. Die Anmeldung ist da links. Ah, danke. Guten Tag, ist das hier die Anmeldung? Ja, wie heißen Sie? Kate Andrews. Wie buchstabiert man das? Nachname? A-N-D-R-E-W-S. Vorname? K-A-T-E.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson. Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Jens, aus welcher Stadt kommst du?
Göttingen. Und du?
Ich komme aus England.
Ehrlich?
Ja, ehrlich. Ich bin Engländerin.
Wo genau in England?
Aus der Hauptstadt, London.
Das ist ein schöner Ort.
Now you'll hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Aus.
From. Out of.
Aus. Aus. Sein.
To be.
Sein. Sein. Engländer. Engländerin.
English male. English female.
Engländer. Engländerin. Engländer. Engländerin. Woher?
From where?
Woher? Woher? Seit.
Since.
Seit. Seit. Schön.
Beautiful.
Schön. Schön. Kommen.
To come.
Kommen. Kommen. Hauptstadt.
Capital city.
Hauptstadt. Hauptstadt. Stadt.
Town. City.
Stadt. Stadt. Ort.
Place. City. Location.
Ort. Ort.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Jens, aus welcher Stadt kommst du?
Göttingen. Und du?
Ich komme aus England.
Ehrlich?
Ja, ehrlich. Ich bin Engländerin.
Wo genau in England?
Aus der Hauptstadt, London.
Das ist ein schöner Ort.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what kind of movies do you like? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about movies and ask other people about their favorite kinds of movies. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Movies and TV PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Welche Art von Filmen magst du?
Ich mag Horror.
Once more with the English translation.
Welche Art von Filmen magst du?
What kind of movies do you like?
Ich mag Horror.
I like horror. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, what kind of movies do you like? That's,
Welche Art von Filmen magst du?
listen to it again.
Welche Art von Filmen magst du? Welche Art von Filmen magst du?
Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
Ich mag.
type of movie. I like type of movie. For example, I like horror.
Ich mag Horror. Ich mag Horror.
Here are a few more kinds of movies you can use with the same pattern to talk about movies. Horror.
Horror. Horror.
Comedy.
Komödie. Komödie.
Fantasy.
Fantasy. Fantasy.
Romance.
Liebesgeschichten. Liebesgeschichten.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Welche Art von Filmen magst du? Ich mag Komödien. Welche Art von Filmen magst du? Ich mag Fantasy. Welche Art von Filmen magst du? Ich mag Liebesgeschichten.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, "What kind of movies do you like?"
Welche Art von Filmen magst du?
Imagine you like comedies. Do you remember how to say comedy?
Komödie. Komödie.
Say, "I like comedies."
Ich mag Komödien.
Now answer the question saying that you like comedies.
Welche Art von Filmen magst du? Ich mag Komödien.
Now imagine that you like fantasy movies. Do you remember how to say fantasy?
Fantasy. Fantasy.
Say, "I like fantasy."
Ich mag Fantasy.
Now, answer the question saying you like fantasy movies.
Welche Art von Filmen magst du? Ich mag Fantasy.
Now imagine you like romantic movies. Do you remember how to say romantic?
Liebesgeschichten. Liebesgeschichten.
Say, "I like romance."
Ich mag Liebesgeschichten.
Now answer the question saying you like romantic movies.
Welche Art von Filmen magst du? Ich mag Liebesgeschichten.
In this lesson, you learned new vocabulary and phrases you can use in your everyday life to talk about movies. You are now able to talk about types of movies like a native speaker. Start by practicing in the comments below. Tell us what your favorite kind of movie is. Lastly, don't forget to click the link in the description and download your PDF cheat sheets. You'll get useful phrases you need for everyday life for free. See you in the next lesson. Bye! Okay, today's topic is 4 rules for staying motivated with language learning. You're going to learn 1. The mistake people make with motivation, 2. The 4 rules for motivation, and 3. How you can apply the 4 rules to your language learning. Do you wish you were more motivated about language learning? You watch motivational videos, you feel good for a second, but none of it sticks. This lesson may have some tips to help you. First, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the 24-hour survival phrases cheat sheet. Traveling and want to learn a bit of the language? Then these survival phrases will help you with the first 24 hours. Second, the Ultimate Listening Video Master Course. How good are your listening skills? Watch this free video master course to more easily understand native speakers. You can download it right now. Third, the 50 most common verbs all beginners must know. Do you know all of these verbs? If not, this lesson will drill the 50 most common verbs into your head. Just use the free audio slideshow tool inside. And fourth, 20 strategies for learning a language at home. Want to learn a language from the comfort of your own home? This 1-minute lesson gives you all the best tactics for learning languages. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. 4 rules for staying motivated with language learning. Want to know how to really stay motivated? Then listen closely to these 4 rules. These rules might be a little different from the advice that you often hear. Ready? Rule number 1. Action comes first. Are you the type of person who prefers to make things happen? Or are you the type that waits for things to happen to you? One of the best ways to stay motivated with language learning is to not think about motivation. Instead, take action and start learning. The mistake that most people make is that they have this backwards. They think they should wait to feel motivated first and then start learning. But really, it's the other way around. First, you do a language lesson. You learn a basic conversation. Then you do another. And then you start feeling like you can do more and learn more. You see results. So results bring motivation. Thinking about motivation does not bring motivation. Thinking about motivation is like reading an article about how to go outside for a run instead of actually going outside for a run. So action comes first. Rule number 2, always have an outside influence. It's very easy to lose motivation if you're learning language alone. So what do? Here are some examples. You get a study buddy. You hire a tutor. You join a meetup group. You plan a trip to a country where people speak that language. Or you sign up for a proficiency test, like many language learners do. Why do this? Because now you have other people depending on you. You have outside factors that keep you going with the language. For example, if you signed up for a language proficiency test, you know you have a few months to study and you have to take the test on a certain date. Someone is going to pass or fail you. This is a lot more motivating than learning alone. If you're learning with our program, you can get your own teacher with the Premium Plus plan. They'll hold you accountable, send you homework, and give you feedback. If you have a study buddy, well, now you have someone that expects you to show up and improve. And if they're better than you, that should give you extra motivation because you want to be at their level. So get some outside influence. The next rule is rule number 3. Always have a go-to study method. When you arrive at work or the gym, or when you start your homework, you always have that one thing you do first, right? What do? For example, with work, maybe the very first thing you do is check emails. Then you check your tasks for the week. After that, you get started. Well, you need to make the same kind of habits with language learning. You need a go-to study method that you're comfortable with, an easy starting point. And this totally depends on you and your style. Choose something you enjoy. Some people listen to audio lessons. Some people like flashcards. For some people, writing is easy. You can write out song lyrics and translate them. It's up to you. The point is, you should give yourself an easy first step to get you started and get into the flow of learning. If you're learning with our program, you can start with the word of the day email or do a quick 3-minute audio lesson. You can copy out the lesson dialogue, read through the lesson notes, or even easier, just review and re-listen to a lesson you took the day before. If you have your own go-to study method, you're already miles ahead of most learners. Leave a comment and tell us about it. And finally, rule number 4, always be working on something. So here, I want you to stop and think about your friends. Do you have a friend that's always up to something? Some project? They're working on a song, or they're making videos. They finish one thing and they start another. Well, if you wonder how they stay motivated, it's because they're always working on something. And this goes back to taking action. If you're not learning or working, you can't stay motivated. So you need to apply this to language learning. How? For example, like I mentioned in part 2 about outside influence, you can make a plan to travel to a country that speaks your target language. Or you can sign up for a language proficiency test. If you do that, you'll have something to look forward to, something to do. If you're traveling, you need to learn travel phrases. If you have a proficiency test coming up, you have to study grammar and do exercises. What else can you do? If you already have a textbook or workbook, make it a goal to finish that book. If you have a learning program, make it a goal to finish it or reach a certain level. If you're using our lessons, make it a goal to finish one learning pathway. Then, when you're done, give yourself something else to do, something to stick with, something to look forward to. So, let's recap. 1. Action comes first. 2. Always have an outside influence. 3. Always have a go-to study method. And 4. Always be working on something. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to get a return on your language learning investment. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free German ebook before it's gone.